Hey, so I want to show you how I use Mailshake. So I have done a lot of cold email outreach in the past, and I have found that for me, one of the most effective ways to do cold email is to provide something that is very, very valuable initially, that is very unique. And so one thing that I did was created a group, a private Facebook group called SaaS Growth Hacks, and this group is for software founders and executives. And so I have lists of software founders and executives, and I have them set up in Mailshake, and I send them an email to introduce them to the group and invite them to join. And then once they join the group, then I accept them, and then I kind of like build a relationship from there. But I just want to show you how I have it set up in Mailshake and how I'm going about this. So I have a campaign set up called SGH Email Invitation. And so let me show you the messages first. So I have two messages that go out. This one here, which is an invitation to the group. And then in 3 days, if they haven't opened or replied to the email, then I send them this second email, which is just a little bit different worded. It's kind of touching on a different pain point a little bit. And so, but both of the messages are essentially the same. It's join the free group, and we have some cool people in the group, and you can get a lot of value out of it. So that's essentially the campaign. And the offer is joining a group. So let's go back to the overview. Actually, I'll go to recipients and show you how I have that set up. So I've uploaded multiple lists into the group, and each of these lists is separated into categories or verticals. So for instance, I have information services and human resources, and all these are software companies broken down by category. And there's two reasons I did this. One, because the Excel sheet that I had was too big and I couldn't upload it. So I literally had to split it up into different categories. And the second is because I can drill down in each one of these verticals, and I can see how well the campaign did, for instance, for the live chat software list. So let me go back to that. So here's the overview. In the past probably 5 days, I've sent 4,000 emails. I had 2,000 opens, a 50% open rate, which is pretty good, and then 500 clicks. And then I'm not so focused on the replies, which is interesting. Most people would look at the replies as being, most important, but for me, it was the clicks. And not so much the clicks, but how many people join the group, and I'll get to that in a second. I also drill down per email. Just click on this email, and I can see that this email had a 53% open rate and 50% clicks. And this second email here, the reply one, has a 25% open rate, and it doesn't have enough data for me to have an accurate get some data from that. But one thing I can also do is go back to the first email, and I can also scroll into any of the recipient lists. So let's go into like the information services, for instance. So let's see, 53% opens, which is pretty standard, and then at 18% clicks and 5% replies. So this is pretty standard. It's nothing like super interesting as far as like that it's like a huge change in click-through rates. If I go to something like live chat software, which is pretty cool, I can see that the open rate was pretty good, and that I had a 17% click-through rate on a cold email, which is pretty good for cold email. So that's how I have that set up. Trying to think. So I have, when you go into the recipients, I can actually go into each one of these lists here, and I can set up how I have everything. But I have 30 emails going out at a time with 480 minutes in between sends. So I think that's about 6 hours or 4 hours, I believe. So it ends up being about 100 emails a day, and which I find is pretty good. Like that's all that I can handle. And if I go to the group, I just want to show you something cool. So I ran this campaign 4 days ago. And this number here, 436 new, that is the number of new users that I've added to the group by sending out one cold email. And if you notice, I went back to the stats here. The click-through rate is 500. So just my stats as far as conversion. So I had 500 clicks and then 430 new members estimated. So pretty good conversion rate. So that's how I use Mailshake. And thanks for watching.